Well, our reporter Linda Mnisi, he was at the government briefing this afternoon. He joins us now. Linda, good afternoon to you. Was it just me, or did the minister seem quite frustrated with these claims that government is trying to cling on to the power they had during the national state of disaster?
Well, at this point, Stephen, it seems as though the only way forward is with these regulations, of course, pending that 30-day period that was announced by President Cyril Ramaphosa last night. In fact, what is also quite interesting, Stephen, is how the national state of disaster cannot necessarily be a thing of the past. So from what I look at it, Stephen, it seems as though it's on standby, given the fact that we don't know how the pandemic will behave going forward, while the country, or the ministers are saying the country seems to be stable in terms of those infections. The national state of disaster can be invoked if we get to a point where the virus it escalates to disaster levels. So the only reason there was a national state of disaster was because it was a disaster and government needed to intervene. So at the moment, it seems, with the country being stable, the national state of disaster will be set aside and paving the way for new regulations to come into place, because, like he says, the country shouldn't let their guard down because COVID-19 is still there and is still very much a threat.
He's worried about a possible threat. There's a public consultation process that is underway at the moment. When are we going to get some kind of finality? I suppose it's still a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, the minister saying that these are just amendments, not new laws to control people. We know that the public comments are open until about the 16th of April. And if you look at that, Stephen, it's just in time before the predicted fifth wave starts. It's expected to start, or predicted to start, around the end of April. And government is saying that people should be making their recommendations, because the Act does, in fact, make provisions for the public to make those comments. And how far and wide that goes, they're looking at the issue around, people also participating not only through online platforms, because at this moment it would seem to them that people are only able to participate in this process through online platforms. So opening it up then to those who don't have those online platforms. So come the 16th of April, that will be the last day for the public to make public comment in those amendments to the Health Act.
That's Easter Saturday as it happens. So we have these regulations in place at the moment. We've got this process that is underway. At the same time, we've got the vaccination process. What is the minister saying about that at the moment?
It's quite interesting, Stephen, when you look at the issue around the vaccinations. The government still, singing from the same hymn book, that more and more people should get vaccinated. But also, you'll remember there's been a big debate around natural immunity as well as immunity from the vaccine. The minister saying, well, if that is the argument, the counter-argument then would be that natural immunity fades. With time to time, it does decrease unless someone gets a second infection, which then gives you much longer immunity from the virus. But the same can also be said about these vaccinations, and that is why government says that they have these boosters to make sure that people are, the immunity is prolonged. So government still encouraging people that vaccines seem to be the way to continue in this trajectory, and if people want to stay under these regulations, it would be of their interest perhaps and of the country's interest to have more and more people taking up the vaccine.